behind Addison when I worked over there at I-70.
And everybody does this right here. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I had a refrigerator almost kind of like that, like in the 90s.
Cash my shit in.
It's like around an airport. Her, of course, is personal planes. Mine are jet fighters. So it's kind of, I don't know if you watch the vlog. If around me, it's all jet fighters. And with her, it's personal planes. So I'm making a point. I don't know the difference. I guess God has He has a plan for every vlog. Yeah, he's directing traffic. July 11th, we're dealing with 182,710 miles, 95 degree Fahrenheit. And Linda's concerned about the cat. So we're going to stop by Walmart and she's going to head back to her roommates right after that. But we're going to get flea repellent. I guess flea medicine. Well, it's not flea medicine. It's we're going to look at the options we have to help the cat with fleas. I don't think the cat has that many fleas, but she combed it. She found some fleas in the cat, so we're going to try, something like Revolution or some kind of flea powder stuff. She's very concerned with the cat and in tears, so I just ask you to pray for her and let her know that the God's in control. Cats have had fleas for more than centuries. For thousands of years, cats have lived with fleas, and we all kind of have as people. And the flea thing is, it is something you want to address. But, I haven't noticed anything since I've gotten Edmund. I've only combed him for a little bit of fleas. I don't scratch or anything like that. It's not anything that really scares me, but Linda's very concerned. So I just ask you to pray for her, and we're going to Walmart she's very anxious to get the flea medicine. So we had a little incident with the police because she went out. She just kind of ran out of my place and kind of panicked. And I do this kind of stuff too. And then I kind of went after her in my underwear because she didn't have her shoes and her phone. She actually did have her phone, but I didn't know she had her phone. And she didn't have her keys. So they showed up just to kind of see if she was okay. They're real professional. I think one guy was named Matthew, who's a really great cop. He's almost as good as Shoek. And this is just part of the journey with the thing. We don't really get a lot of cops on the vlog. I have one time when I was being served a criminal trespass at a Jason's Deli for slinging yolk, which was I was on a diet like several years ago. I think it was before I met Linda. And I did get that one because that was kind of a technical thing. I was getting served a criminal trespass for Jason's Deli. But nothing really happened with these guys. They just seemed concerned. They wanted to make sure that she was okay because she was stopping traffic. And she was okay. And now we're going to look at flea medicine. Oh, I think she's kind of parked way out this way. All right. Well, I wanted to make sure you found the right flea. Plus, there's 327 right there. I want to make sure you found the right flea medicine. You seemed really concerned about it. And then the 327, they have gas for 327 right there. So then I'll do that way. Your parking spot is very interesting, sweetie. It's just a little different than most, but I think you can get away with it because that truck, you're leveled with that truck. All right.
Cameras.
Yeah, I know, there's cameras everywhere. All right, so we're gonna get some flea medicine. What do you call it? Flea repellent for kitties, for kitty cats? It's like a flea repellent. Yeah, okay, I'm putting it down. Okay, yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah. Okay, so you like 4th edition. This one's older too, so it doesn't show the date, but this one says at least July. Okay. That's all right. Linda, so she's safe. So a little adventure was kind of in her head, but still there. And she's got a left-right turn signal. And I'm going to check this out. So since I vlogged it, since we were in Walmart, the gas price dropped 3 pennies. If you can see the time it took for the gas price to drop, you'd be amazed. It dropped down to $3.25. Dropped down to $3.25 as I was vlogging, because it was $3.28 when I was there. Maybe I saw a 28. She's coming up behind me. Okay, maybe I have something turned on the wrong way. Okay, hang on. Figure out what's going on. Okay. Man, what's up? What's going on?
I love you.
I love you too. Right?
See you in a few days.
Pretty quick. A little bit counts. A little bit counts. Hopefully we get back down to $2.99. Anyway. All right, next up, DFW Horizons. You know me, I'm a big Martin Scorsese fan, and Killers of the Flower Moon is coming out. Scorsese, unlike Lynch, who David Lynch is a great director on the same level and par as aesthetics, and also as being a filmmaker of high quality and of artistic value that means something, as in making masterpieces, which Scorsese makes, as well as David Lynch. The reason I'm comparing the two is because both have been in different types of situations in the public. Of course, Lynch has been looked at as a cult, almost like a Satanist, I've heard at times, and a cult kind of creator or something like that, which I don't think that's true at all. I think he's just a filmmaker that has an artistic way of looking at life and wants to express that. And so we see something through his lens, or we see something through his eyes. But with Martin Scorsese, there's one movie that he made that made a big impact, or it made a huge impact on society, which is Taxi Driver. So what happened to me at the Actor Studio Drama School and the New School University is I was asked to leave after the first year, and I will talk about all that in detail, maybe even showing exactly everything that happened. I poured paint in a washing machine, okay, and I got in a lot of trouble for it. And I was playing a character called Oswald in a play called Ghost, which was about Ibsen. And I guess I had a relationship with this character that kind of got into my head a little too much, and I'm finding myself doing weird things with paint. Okay, so I got in trouble for that, and I was asked to leave after the first year. I did not get to meet Martin Scorsese, but now that I'm almost 50, and I'm 49, I'll be 50 this summer, I'm more of a mature thinker, and I'm also a wiser person. And I don't know what kind of question I would have asked Martin Scorsese at the age of 27. It probably would have had to do with aesthetics. It probably had to do with camera angle. And I definitely would have mentioned Bernard Herrmann's beautiful score, which is probably one of the best scores for all cinema, for a movie. My own opinion. I'm biased toward Taxi Driver, but that score is beautiful. It stays in your head forever. You don't ever forget it, just like you don't forget Jaws and other famous scores, even Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock. You don't forget the Taxi Driver, na 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 na. You don't forget that score. But anyway, regardless of music and of aesthetics and camera angle, I probably would have had one question to ask him, and it was twofold about Taxi Driver. And that's what if I would have cut on the microphone, I got to stand up with Lipton being there. And in my second year, I didn't make it to my second year, so I didn't get to ask. I didn't get to ask him. I didn't get to ask him anything. I wasn't able to go in the second year. They only allowed me 1 year. And then I was asked to leave. I could come back if I could prove that I had gotten help and I was able to function along with all the students that are MFA program on that level, because these guys are really professional, and you can't do things like pour paint in a washing machine, even if you say that it's method or whatever. Regardless, I would have asked him a question. So I would have got the microphone and I would have said, I want to address Taxi Driver. And first of all, I'd want to ask you this, Martin Scorsese. Okay. I know that you studied seminary, and I know that you have an impact on theology because you almost became a priest, or that was one of the things that you wanted to become. So first of all, and I'm also kind of asking you to answer a question for Paul Schrader, because I know Paul Schrader wrote Taxi Driver. But what theological perspective did you have, if you had any, when directing Taxi Driver, and also addressing Paul Schrader, who wrote the script? Second of all, Jodie Foster had gotten into some trouble in the courts. She didn't get in trouble, but her parents had gotten in some trouble, and she almost lost the right to be with her parents. And how, as a director, did you respond to that? And if you anticipated that on the fact that you asked a 12-year-old girl to play a woman of the night, which is a very risque thing to do. And if you could address those two-folded questions. So I thought about this after I answered the question on what would Scorsese say. And I think that Scorsese would probably say that there wasn't a big theological point, that he was trying to tell the story that Paul Schrader wrote. But Paul Schrader probably had some theology in it, because he talks about God's lonely man, which is Travis Bickle. I think he would have probably said something, that there was probably something coming from Paul Schrader that had theology in it. But I don't think Scorsese approached it in a theological way. I think he showed it in a very real way. It wasn't trying to be a faith-based film. And then second, I think he would say this about Jodie Foster, is that he did not know the ramification of what a movie could do to a family. Because unfortunately, it didn't happen, but it came close, that Jodie Foster almost lost her right as a child to her parents. And I'm not going to say right, but parents do have rights to be with their children. My daughter's birthday was yesterday. I didn't get to see her. Now, I don't know the ramification of my vlog, because I'm going to switch over to the video vlog. I think that's probably maybe how Scorsese would have answered the question. I fantasize about these things, and I think about this because we were taught to as directors, but we're also taught to think like the actors, and we're also taught to think like the audience member as well, and to think about ramifications in doing something. And how do I feel about, and I don't always show all the vlogs that I've done of Linda. There's one that I would like to show, but Linda will not allow me to show it, because Linda is an alcoholic. And I'm praying for her and hoping that she will be able to get through this without any major ramifications. She questions the vlog and the validity of the vlog all the time. Her nickname for me used to be McFly, but now she calls me Mr. Movie Star. And I've been asked to stop the vlog by many people. My mom has just really begged me to keep it at 15 minutes. And I know my vlog can be at 40 minutes to 51 minutes. And I know that what we're doing as vloggers is new. It's a phenomenon, and I don't think that we have control of it yet. I think it's a wild horse, and it's out of control. At times, it's very boring, very redundant, and then at times it's very exciting if I'm able to capture the excitement without getting in some type of legal trouble, which we almost did today. Did not have the camera with me. Linda had hers, didn't know she did. She had what's known as her iPhone. Now I want to relate this to someone like Francis Ford Coppola, or any director coming out of the 70s and 80s, who they don't realize, and for one thing, they were famous, because Francis Ford Coppola was very famous as a director. But the tools that they get to use in telling a story that's in their mind, which we're seeing the story and we're perceiving it as it's happening. And we're like, okay, I'm going to turn the camera on. Linda's doing this, and I'm going to try to make this kind of a story, and she's going to tell this joke, and then we're going to advertise this and see if we can get on some product line thing or whatever. Okay, it's very different than what was going on with film and 35 millimeter, because you couldn't make a lot of mistakes or everybody would go broke. You couldn't leave the camera going on for 8 minutes and 28 seconds unless you really had something to say. Now, maybe you could. I could be wrong. Maybe you could. There's probably times when I've seen some footage from Apocalypse Now where the camera looked like it was just rolling. and there was just, you know, wind blowing, and maybe he did that with the hurricane, so it was kind of coming off like a vlog a little bit. But what I'm trying to say is that we are in an age of information, an unlimited amount of supply to tell a story. As long as we can sit by our phones while it exports, it could take 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And it literally comes to a point where it kind of takes over your life. I've got one vlog going on right now that's uploading. It's been uploading all day. It's been uploading all morning, and it's going to take time because I don't have 5G. If I had 5G, that you would already be seeing that vlog. It could take all day for a vlog to go up. It ain't that big of a deal. Back in the day when Coppola and even Scorsese and all the other, even Lynch, it could take them months or maybe even weeks before they even got to see the dailies. So they're going to look at film and the process of making film completely different than a vlogger. It's not going to be on the same level. It's going to be a complete different thing. And whether they even call it art or not, I don't even know. We're going to look at some traffic up here. But that's what I wanted to say, was that they got to create real masterpieces that look like masterpieces and they speak like masterpieces. And we're just filming crap. Nevertheless, it's a heckload of footage. And there's a big story here. So whether they're creating these fine fishes in the sea, and we're creating these massive wells, these massive textures and oceans of the sea, is a difference between the two. Because if you look at a vlogger that has over 2,000 vlogs or even 1,700 vlogs, they don't have anywhere near that amount of footage. So there's a whole different kind of way that it works. If we ever got a hold of a film company and we ever got a hold of a script and some funding, we would literally tear it up, because I think that we would kind of know what we were doing in a certain degree. Okay, I'm not saying we're masters at it, but we'd probably be able to eventually learn it. Okay, and that's what I want to say about filmmaking. Is there's a difference between the two. I always say that there's a difference between filmmaking and vlogging. It's not the same thing. We're still telling a story. We're just coming from different angles for sure. Also, a lot of muffler stuff. There's a lot of muffler stuff that we come up with that we actually have to face. They're all, whether they're from Texas. All these people are from Texas right here. Anyway, all right, I'll talk to you later. Incredible amount of people. It's just an incredible amount. You can see here the big major difference from the direction. They're headed towards Dallas. I'm headed through Irving towards the airport. Just an amazing amount. It's just kind of, when you look down, you fly over that, you just see exactly how many people are on this planet. Amazing, and it's not a lot of traffic going in to the airport right now. It's about 5:30, but not a whole lot. And it's usually always this way, coming from this is what, north. This is coming from the north side of DFW. Rarely do I ever see any traffic going in the north side. South side a little bit, but they really designed DFW Airport to handle traffic. And a lot of people will go through DFW Airport every day just to pass through to get to work. I just don't see it ever jammed. Not that I can think of. And you know, it's kind of considered its own zip code. It is. DFW has its own zip code. DFW Airport. It's like its own city. What a lot of people don't realize. DFW is a long process. My stepdad actually helped construct some of these roads that are in DFW, even though they're all crazy and they swirl around and stuff, because he worked in concrete whenever he was coming out of TCU. He ended up a football coach, but meaning he laid concrete, because he was, one of those muscle men kind of guys. Which I did a little bit of that kind of. There's DFW. I did a little bit of stuff with packing, sorting, and things like that. I had worked on DFW when I was younger. I was about 19, and I worked in like a FedEx kind of company that we were paid an extremely high amount of money. It was like $20 an hour back in early 90s, which was really good. $20 an hour for a 19-year-old was a lot of money, and we did do this for a summer and made a lot of quick money very quickly. But I didn't stay that long because I got in the theater. Anyway, it is a cool airport. It is kind of like its own little city. It really is, but they treat things like that. Now, part of Fort Worth on the other side, well, actually, it goes into Euless, is actually owned by Fort Worth. So it's a lot of this area is owned by Fort Worth. And if you go through the airport, and you'll go into all these apartment complexes over there. Little zones are actually Fort Worth property. I guess Fort Worth and Dallas kind of fight over the whole DFW thing. And it's about $27,000 a day or something to dock the plane here. Now, that could be rumor, but that's what I heard. That's very expensive just to bring the planes in, just to dock them. And get the passengers boarded. Because the airline industry is an incredible amount of money. It's an incredible amount. Most of the times, like let's say if you're in the food industry and you bring it over to the airport, you'll get like 16 an hour rather than like 10 an hour. Or you get 20 an hour rather than 12 an hour. They bring up the pay way higher. It's just because it's just that way with travel. It's very convenient to jump on a plane and get across the country. Oh, there's Skynet right there. To get across the country in a matter of a few minutes sometimes, or at least an hour or so. So C is a little more, C is more American. So it's different with each terminal. A is going to be United and JetBlue. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. Sorry about that. That's not true. Actually, E is United and JetBlue. There might be American connected with E. E is kind of the offshoot one, so it's further down, and I've done very well on E. A is probably more American, as well as B and C. So a lot of these guys are corporate, and they're on some kind of corporate thing. So anyway, let's start the timer. So we're not at the very, very last one, but we're at the second to last one. So it's probably done this one before. It's C4. It's right here, and then we're parked exactly right there. They have these fly freshed, so it's Coca-Cola. I'm just wondering on pricing, because I always wonder about price at the airport. And I don't see if they show anything. Yeah. 310's a little high. It's a little high. It's not like too bad. I expect $5. This is just water right here. Don't know if it's going to show the water. I'm assuming it's probably the same. They have the energy drinks, so they're probably $5. I don't know if they're showing price on any of these. Right here. Yeah, this puts in your credit. You can load down credit or whatever. Put money in here, and it can give you credit on this, so you can use it. I don't know if it has an app, though. And they're not giving price on the Lunchables or anything like that. But it's still good because you don't have to go to the TSA to get this, and you can use cash and just grab something to drink. They got Dunkin' Donuts coffee right here. So this, it's kind of cool to know that you can do that. Anyway, we're head off to this other baggage claim. tuck these in. If we find an empty one, we might make a quick 50 cents here. Gives you a little bit of pep in what you're doing right here. Kind of fun a little bit. Then again, you have to keep both these down, or you'll lose. It'll break and get all kind of train wrecky. That's a word. I just invented a word called train wrecky. Don't highly recommend it. It's kind of embarrassing a little bit, but you kind of have to bend it over a little bit. It's not too bad. Man, that one's dry. Still nothing. Okay, won't be using that one. What's a freebie? That's all faiths, so it could be more than one faith, I guess. It's really for really anybody. So they owe me $0.25. Ooh, it's not dry. All right, cool. It's kind of hard to manipulate here. We're gonna go for $1 and see if we can get these going on. First short films we ever made was at Pascal High School. We did one called Solace. We used a wheelchair. Kind of makes me think of that short film that I made. All right, here we go. I didn't write it though. My friend Rob Vasquez wrote it. But I was in it though. We did Harvey Keitel impressions later on in the middle of it. Which I'd do anything for those Harvey Keitel impressions. This guy's getting on. This could be 4 of them. Appreciate it. I guess that's pretty big. Well, we'll see if it has enough room for 4. It may or may not. I've never done 4 before, so it's the first time. Try to document it here. 4 of them right there, baby. 4 babies right there. Whew. All right, I did one of them and it worked out. So we'll see if this one will actually fit. Do the second one I did right in a row. All right, it did work. That's the last one. So usually when you can fill it and it goes through, you try to do another one, then you'll lose the quarter. So you want to find another spot for these two.